Hi friends, I've got a couple things to check out today. I'll have a couple more later, but today some of my Amazon Prime purchases showed up. The NicPro watercolor paintbrushes, the Rowney travel set, and these Gethpen, always in love calligraphy pens. That's what we're calling them. All right, so let's start off with the Rowney. Let's see what those are like. I did not know this was just a little travel set, but that's fine because it's actually going to be very handy. These are the colors that are going to be there. So we'll get right back into this plastic case. I think if I remember correctly, one of the things I liked about this was the little travel case. Let's see. No, not hard to open at all. Oh, it's got a little brush in there, which is nice, a number 4 round. Let's move this out of the way for now. So I like the look of these colors, and if I remember seeing where this lifts out somehow. I have to investigate that a little bit further. But in the meantime, let's take their brush, which is just a nice little, I think that's going to need some water. All right, let's try that again. Now we have some water. So let's just check this brush out first off. Bristles look pretty straight and good. Got a piece of paper here, and let's check out these paints. All right, we might as well swatch. So I hate to swatch white because it's white, but let's do it because I want to see what the consistency is like. Okay, and this last one should be an ivory, yep, ivory black. Usually when there's a Payne's gray and something following, it's the ivory black or lamp black. That is very black. We'll see how it dries. There's a lot of resistance, a lot within the color itself. So I think you'd have to be mindful of that with these, but I like the colors. The colors are good. So kind of interesting on here. So this is why I'm having such a hard time identifying, because this one here is the cobalt violet, which is that. This one on here is the Prussian blue, which is that. So I'm going to go back in here and grab that Prussian blue. Let's make sure. So we've got the alizarin crimson, then the portrait pink, purple lake, cobalt violet, Prussian blue. Let's just see if I maybe didn't get enough of that. If it's user error, then it's not fair to accuse it of not being. See, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just a matter of the amount of water that I used. And that's probably true on some of these, because until you get used to them, you don't really know. With something like this, with these little half pans, sometimes it's, well, number one, it's hard to tell those colors, what they actually are. So that's one thing, because like that one, it was so dark before I stuck my brush in it. But this was going to be the Viridian, which this really surprised me for the Viridian. And then the leaf green, that's how I'm able to tell, because they're side by side. So that ended up being the Viridian, which, you know, you've really got to be careful when you're pulling in colors that you are really looking at the right place. And that's, again, why it's real important to have a swatch card. So I'll create something smaller, folded, that'll go in here. And let's grab... This is one of the NicPro. Now these, when you get these, let's go ahead and open this up. When you get these, I pulled one out already because they have to be rinsed. A lot of brushes, when they're transported, they add some kind of a glue or something to the actual brush so that they don't, in transport, you know, get all disturbed. So they maintain, see, they're packaged this way so that, and you see the one I took out here, so that they're protected, which is good. But anyway, so let's see. So I like the fact they have this nice little case. I've used NicPro brushes before, and to be honest, I had problems with them. The ones I had ordered before were these, and they would lose hair. But I really love the quill brushes in so many of the other brands. One of the ones I've been using is the Artegra. And I think it's called Artegra. I love it. So I've been using it a lot. And so I thought, well, let's see how these behave, because these are the squirrel, but I don't know if they're really completely squirrel. Let's see what it says. Synthetic squirrel hair. There you go. I love this paper. So let's just see. And I'm going to do something a little, let's go with, I think I really liked this alizarin. So let's just see what we can do here. Give us two different tests, one of the color and one of the, and let's throw some of this down at the bottom. See how that, if it repels like I would expect it to. Beautiful. And this should be the sap green. Yeah, perfect. You see why I wanted, this, when you're working with this really loose kind of floral, you can do so much with a quill brush. And that's really kind of what I was hoping for. But I don't want to have to worry about the hairs being, coming out, because then I've got tweezers and I'm pulling them out. I have a hard enough time because I have dogs. That in itself creates enough of a problem. I'm wanting to see how these colors interact with each other here. Let's get some. Come on, work with me. And this is where that blooming would become a problem. I'd have to be really careful how much, but look how pretty the yellow and that alizarin worked together on this already. I'm gonna put something else in here. I'll just do a bud. I keep going in that water. Oh boy, my dog. A leaf must have fallen off a tree a couple yards away because the beagle's all upset. Sorry if you hear him. Really liking the way these colors are interacting. All right, so let's get a little bit more of this one. Let them bleed. Nice. All right, yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking the paint. I'm liking, well, the paper's so good. If you've not used the Bao paper, it is so good. I absolutely love it. Let's see if I can pull some of this. This violet in here, just give it a little extra oomph. And then I'd put some, once that dried, I would end up putting in some, I'm tempted to do it now. There we go. All right, anyway, you see the brush, you see the paint. If you look at my palette here where the two colors are kind of working together, they're not, unless I mix them up. I like the fact that, you know, they're the way that they're interacting with each other, they do blend, you know, nicely. But if I just had let it set them side by side, kind of interesting what it was doing there. Let's look at these calligraphy pens. So these are supposed to be, and let's look at, there's broad, extra small, 2 millimeters small, 2 millimeter angled. Let's try that. Let's look at these. They're just, that's really all it, they're quick drying, acid free. That was the main thing. It has a code and coded caps. Oh, good. Okay, yeah, I do like that. So when I'm setting them in, you know, some of the pens that I've had in the past, when you set them down in a jar, like I have here, I can see that 04. But anyway, so that's why I bought these, was to try to see how the tip, which you can see it's angled. So, and that's what I want. I want an angled pen. We'll look at this one in a minute. To be able to get that nice, when you're working, like, let's say I want to say hello. I would go smooth. I need to thicken it. All of the downs should be, I really messed this up. All of the downs should be heavy and the horizontals and the ups should be lighter. Just like that. I'm skipping because I'm not used to this pen. Okay. But you see how having it angled like that is supposed to make it that much easier. Let's see. Oh, I got to remember too. So you go down, you can turn it, down, down. There you go. So anyway, I'm liking I like the ink itself. This pen is very different from most things. This is the Pilot G-Tech C4. And the way that you would use this is, once again, let's take this purple and let's say we were going to make some kind of a flower. I'm just really into this shape here lately. That's really boring. But let's say we had more color in there. I do love the quill pens. And some, and I'm going with this green because it looks pretty with that flower. And see, that's the other thing about the quill. You can get thin lines, you can get thick lines. You know, there's just so much freedom with a quill pen with a really nice point to it. So let's leave that there. And I'll show you the beauty of this brush, a pen. This one is the Pilot. Now you're gonna see that I can go right in here into the paint itself with this brush. While it's wet, it's going to allow me to paint even while it's wet, to go in and sketch out, which it's the only one I know of that will do that. So I can go outside the lines, I can go inside the lines. But either way, I like the calligraphy pens. That was the main thing. And I'm happy with the brush as long as it doesn't do a terrible thing. There we go. Perfect. Had to happen. All right. Anyway, that's it for today. I will get some more supplies later. So I really did a lot with this Amazon Prime. And when I get those, I will, and I think it's just some brushes, if I remember, some meet-in brushes and one calligraphy brush. So we'll be checking those out as well. And then later in the week, I should be getting some gouache. But I hope you will try some of this stuff out. If you're interested in this type of a little travel set, I do like it. I do think this would be great if you can figure out how to get this thing out, because I know it comes out. I saw a picture of it with it out. That would be cool too. All right, have a good day. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video.